Hey, Vivian here. I've been back from Tokyo for almost a week, not so much, like 5 days. I got back on Monday, so had some time to get back on my life. And I thought I would use this video to answer some of the follow-up questions that you sent to me via Tumblr, and just kind of talk about some other stuff that happened within the week that I thought was worth mentioning. Probably not so much Kuromyu related, but if you're interested, you can watch it to the very end. And yes, I have a towel on my shoulder because I just washed my hair. And welcome back to my room, in case anyone missed the fact that I hang my laundry at the back of my room. So, all right. So, I said before, there actually, I actually answered quite a few questions via post, because some of you just directly send it to my account, and like, I'm a very impatient person, so if I have an ask sitting there, I would just want to answer it as soon as possible. So I mostly forgot what those questions were about, but hopefully they're answers, so I don't have to address them here. But if you still want to ask me via Tumblr, you're always welcome to do so. And there are a few questions that you sent to the Google form that I set up. So I would just gonna get into that. Okay, so question number 1. Do you know if the entire cast got singing lessons this year, even roles that didn't require as much singing? The servants, Growl, Undertaker sounded much better this time around. Well, they definitely have like a singing director, like a singing teacher, that kind of, like, he not only helps the actors but also the dancers, because they do have to sing during Jack the Ripper. So yeah, of course, they like voice training. It's kind of essential for shows like this, so they definitely have backup staff to help the actors with that. And I would disagree with the premise of this question, because roles that didn't require as much singing does not include Grow. Grow has a lot of singing to do. Grow has to sing in, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4 songs. And like the complete track list of Licorice is 12, like include all the reprises but not include the one in Curtain Call. So 12 songs in the actual show, and Grow has to sing in 4, and that's like 1/3 of them. So has to sing in Cooperators of Investigation, has to sing in I'll Be Your Pawn and Sword, and he has to sing his own solo, Red, or I forgot what the full name is, Red Reaper, Butler and Reaper. Okay, you know what the song that is, and he has to sing Romeo and Juliet. So 4 songs, and it's actually like Takun has like 1 line in the first 2 songs. And Gross Soul got cut quite a bit, so he doesn't have to sing as much, so he can focus more on the dancing. But he still has to sing a lot in Romeo and Juliet. And yes, I think he did sound better during Romeo and Juliet. Because, like Romeo and Juliet, like, if you really break it down, it's actually more like a Gross solo as well, with, like, just 2 sentences of Sebastian, because it's just a chunk of Grow, and then, like, Sebastian kind of adds something to it, like 2 sentences, and then the rest is still Growl singing slowly, softly to Sebastian. So yeah, I mean, I think overall they did. I'm still a little bit uncertain about the sound effect. Like, I think for some reason I still feel like I'll Be a Pawn and Sword sound a little messy, in a sense that because remember back in 2014 when everyone sang together, it felt, really, the harmony was really good. So even if they're overlapping each other, it doesn't feel like chaotic. And this time I don't know if it's because of the sound system, or is it because the song was rearranged, so I just haven't gotten used to it yet. There are certain parts of it that I felt it was a little bit messy, in a sense that I couldn't quite catch the overlapping voices. Like, I just hear one but not the other one, because I'm supposed to hear them at the same time, and that's how they create the harmony. But in some parts I think I just heard one person but not the other. But I guess that really varies and depends on the theater. So I'm not really sure about that. But yeah, yes, like back to your question, they definitely have voice training in every show and for everyone. So that's definitely a yes. Next question. How does Yuta do the you idiot part of the introduction of the Phantom 5 servants? Based on your description of Yuta's Sebastian, I can't imagine him doing something similar to what Yuya did last year. Well, actually, that part was probably the only part Yuta Seb kind of like lost it. But not in the OOC way, because I think because if you read the manga, like Sebastian can be like horrifying, but when in the manga, in the same scene when the servants were introduced, Sebastian was really like frustrated as well. So Yuta actually brings that side of him out pretty well. Yuta Sep has this really, really nice fake smile. So because the servants, they have their little dance numbers, so they kind of like in the start they just come out and they do their silly dance, and Sebastian's like, yeah, I'm gonna watch on, but then they start introducing themselves, Meilin, Feli, and Barudo, and Sebastian just comes out from the back, and kind of like the servants freeze, and then Sebastian comes out to introduce each one of them, and he is quite frustrated, and the level builds up because there are three of them. So at first he was like not so angry, but they get a little bit more angry, and then in the last one he just went baga, and then he's super long arms just going flame baga, and it was really entertaining, and it was definitely not OOC. It's a great contrast because there are these two sides of Sebastian, and it was a really, really nice contrast without lack of a better word, with he's the creepy version of Sebastian during the contract scene, but back when he's been this butler for a year or two, he has this other frustrated and kind of silly side of him that were brought out by the servants, and the servants even invited him into their dance, and Yuta Seb was like, nope, and it was a really, really funny scene, and I mean you're gonna love it. So no, and it doesn't contradict with his Sebastian being dark and terrifying when circumstances arise, because there are scenes that you really feel, when what Yada Sensei said, black smoke arising from his back. There are scenes that you will feel but the servant scene, it was really nicely done. It was really cute, and it was really entertaining to watch. Next question. Why are you so obsessed with Teluma? Why aren't you obsessed with Teluma? I don't know if this person is equally obsessed with Teluma like I am, or it's just fascinating by my obsession with him. I don't know. There is something about Teluma joined Kuromyu in the Most Beautiful Death rerun, which is a version apparently most people hate, and I'm just because I started to like a lot of the actors from the rerun, because Licorice actually kept most of the cast from the Most Beautiful Death in the rerun, because the first run and the rerun, they were 3 years apart. So naturally you wouldn't have the same cast. And to be very honest, if a show can only survive with the original cast, that show is fucking dead. So and I'm always very biased towards the new cast, the newcomers, because I know that when I appreciate their performance, it's going to be affected by someone who did the role before them. So I tend to set myself in a position where I am emotionally bending towards the newcomers. So when I judge the performance, and when I got pulled back by my memory of the old cast, I could reach a point of balance, so I don't treat them unfairly. And and I end up liking a lot of the actors from the rerun. I really like La Shinji's Eric, and I love Masa's Alan as well. like, I've always felt very neutral about Eric and Alan as characters, to be honest. So, I mean, whoever plays them, I would kind of just appreciate them as actors, and it's less affected by the fact that that I don't feel particularly affectionate towards their characters. I just really like their performance. And Telema came in at a time where, like, yeah, like, I can understand why people weren't drawn to him in The Most Beautiful Death in the World, because that play didn't, like, William could just be deleted from the entire plot and it wouldn't have made a difference. Like, William, Ronald, and, to be honest, to a great extent, Grout, these three characters, they were there for, like, they were written in there, but they weren't really in the story. So, like, if you take those three out, the main plot doesn't change almost. Like, they weren't very, they were really marginalized plot-wise, and that's, like, I mean, that's another reason why I don't like Kanamari as a writer, because she just doesn't write the Reapers well. Like, the only time she could, like, do it better is when she has to create her original characters. Then she can kind of focus on, you know, character development and stuff like that. But the Reapers from the manga, she just couldn't deal with them. Every time she writes them, she screws up. So yeah, I mean, William wasn't a particularly shiny character in the rerun, but in Licorice 2014, Teruma and Uehara Takuya as well, they did get to do the canon William and Grow, where they can actually affect the plot. Yay! And so it was really good. Like, William's precious 5 minutes was really I know how Act 2 in Licorice was mostly like a very depressing story from beginning to end, but William's 5 minutes was just comedy gold. Like, people laughed so hard at that 5 minutes. It's just a really special thing for me, I guess, for someone like me who enjoys William and Grow as characters, and to have Telema be able to played the canon William and his canon debut, and to speak his canon lines. Yeah, and I never not liked Telema, to be honest, from the very beginning. I just and like, my affection for him just grew, because he, like, as a person, he is just the complete opposite of what William is. He is just super adorable, and, like, yeah, I wish William had more time in Kuromyu. I still do. And it's just, I don't know, I can't explain why I'm obsessed with him. I just really like him as an actor, and I think he's a very, very adorable person, and I love the fact that he loves William as a character, and he loves Black Butler as a series. Like, he has, from the very beginning, confessed that he was a fan of the series, even before he took on this role, and he really, really liked Uehara Takuya's Growl. Like, he was fanboy number one from the beginning, and it's just really sweet. He's just really, really sweet person. Yeah, and, you know, I could go on, but I should probably stop, because this video might get too long. So their tour in Japan is going to end tomorrow. That would be the 6th of December, and then they will set off for Shanghai, and then Beijing. And last stop will be Shenzhen. So in 3 weeks, I'll be seeing them again in exactly 20 days. Yay! I'm really, really excited to see them again, and I'm not particularly fond of Shenzhen as a city, although it's like adjacent to Hong Kong. But I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun, because I'm gonna meet a lot of friends there, and we have a lot of people coming from different parts of, not particularly the world, but different parts of Asia, I guess. You know, we have friends coming from Japan who are so obsessed with Kuromyu that they saw it once in Japan, but they still want to see it. in China as well, and we have friends coming from Taiwan, and then also people from Hong Kong. So it will be a great gathering. Yeah, and so the China tour merch post is still up. I'll reblock it regularly before the deadline so y'all can see. And if you want anything, I guess just, send in your submission. I do have, I am very, very strict about deadlines. So even if you send me money after the deadline, I'll just send it back to you. Because, yeah, deadline is a deadline. I'm just that kind of person. And just like an honorary mention, I know I've been screen capping it like crazy because Blu-ray is just the most awesome thing. I'm just watching it on my computer and the screen can only be so big, but I'm still I'm gonna watch it on my TV when I go home for the holidays, and it will be so awesome. If you are thinking about getting Kuromyu, get it in Blu-ray, because imagine this level of high definition on Kuromyu. It would be unbelievable, and Buck Must Look, it's so good, and it would be it's really nice to have Buck Must Look in the middle of my in between the Kuromyu shows and the Kuromyu DVD release, because I miss these boys so much. You have no idea. It's just an awesome series, and the musical is awesome. And if you you don't just skip the anime and you don't have to play the game, but watch the musical. The musical is so freaking awesome. It's just the best thing. It's just perfect casting, and everything is just so wonderful. Yeah, and if you continue to have questions about Kuromyu, or just anything you think I can answer, feel free to drop me a question. I'll be happy to answer them.